r/AskReddit by Reddify. Cat owners of Reddit. What's the weirdest thing your cat has done? Every time I sneeze, my cat comes out from wherever he is and meows at me with concern. I choose to believe he's meowing bless you. When I got one of my cats he was pretty feral. He only has 3 legs, so he can't go back to his colony. I realized that every time I sniffed he thought I was hissing at him. He would flinch. Every time I spray myself with deodorant one of my cats hisses back at me. I think the combination of the sound, me making myself big, raising my arms to spray underneath, and the change in smell that I give off the cat has real problems with haha. My cat will literally park her off of my back onto the furniture. The first time it happened I thought my partner came up behind me and shoved me. But no. My cat does this in the middle of the night in my pitch black bedroom. Her tiny little paws on my back feel like a child shoving me. It's terrifying. What if he's pushing you away from the little children though? Walked to the end of the driveway, turned around, then ran as fast as he could to the front sliding door, launched himself at the flat screen, and used the momentum and the swinging weight of his body to slide the door completely open, and walked on in like the method-king boss he was. Was this cat a Maine Coon? My ex had a Maine Coon who did the same thing. Except, down a hallway. He would walk to her bedroom door, at the end of the hall. Then he'd turn around, and walk to the other end of the hall, and then he'd turn around again and charge. He'd run like hell and launch himself at the door, hitting it sideways, throwing it wide open. And he'd come walking in like nothing happened. I found this out at 3 AM. The first time I stayed over at her place. Wham. The door flies open. I jumped up, thinking somebody broke in. My ex just sat up and yelled at the cat. But the cat seemed quite pleased with himself. Maine Coons are brilliant and they're big. Hers was easily 15 pounds. Maybe more. And strong. The reason I know the cat's technique was because I was taking care of her cats once when she was away. And I watched the ducker do it. I was sitting in the living room and he walked right by me, as if he had somewhere to be. I glanced over and watched as he walked down the hall to her closed door, then turned around and walked back, and then charge, jump, wham. The door flew open and he calmly walked in to curl up on her bed for a nap. Ha 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 ha, what a character. No, this was a regular old tabby cat. He was such fun. He meows for attention and only stops if I pick him up and carry him around. I've had to learn the difference between his I'm hungry meows and his I need attention meows and his I don't need anything. I'm just messing with you meows. My cat is like this. I blame myself. When he was a kitten he wanted to be with me 24/7. So I would carry him around in a baby wrap. Now I end up doing most household chores one-handed and cradling him like a baby in the other arm. Haha. Oh. Mine isn't that bad. But I used to meow back at him. So I think he learned to be really loud. My kitten will wait for me to turn on my computer after work so he can watch my moving background I have. And looks at me when I open Chrome or something if he's still watching the background. Time for a second monitor. I have 3 lol. Usually have stuff open already on those monitors while he's watching the main one. My cat carries a stuffed fish around my house and meows with it in her mouth. My cat does this, but it's a little pink whale. I have a little pink stuffed narwhal that my cat used to carry around. Are you my past self? My previous cat would sit in my hair while I slept. Butthole against my scalp. When I was a teenager I had a cat who thought that my extra long, extra thick hair was just the best thing ever to sleep on a night. Maybe she liked my shampoo? I frequently woke up to her kneading my hair into the pillow, which usually resulted in some claws to the scalp. She lives with my mom now. And my mom definitely doesn't have that long hair. I hope Ma found something else to obsess over. My mom's cat loves wet hair. If anyone in the house has just taken a shower, she will stalk them until they sit down or lie down. Then she will rub herself all over the freshly washed hair. She is 18 years old now and still loves wet hair. I was having acupuncture at home, and my cat jumped on the bed and looked at me with an extremely worried face. Suddenly he started taking the needles out of my body one by one with his mouth. It was quite bizarre. He was saving you from being tortured. Obviously. Cats care about their humans and follow their instincts after all. The cat I had when I was a kid developed a weird habit later in her life. Whenever she was laying on me, she'd stare me dead in the eyes and just slowly stretch a paw up and stick it in my mouth. Don't know why. Mine does that, except she puts her paw on my nose. Boop. I have a weird but kinda sweet story. My cat is usually all about my husband. When my husband is home, the cat follows him around, demands to get picked up and held like a baby, and cuddles with him the most. Unless I'm sick. Even when it's just a migraine. The cat seems to know and cuddles with me and won't leave my side until I feel better. So, about a month ago I was feeling horrible. Sick to my stomach. Migraine. Really bad period cramps. A sore throat. All topped off with congestion so bad I had to breathe out of my mouth for days. So I'm laying in bed, hoping some medicine will kick in and I can fall asleep, when I feel the cat jump off the bed. I figured he was going to leave me be. But he came back in about a minute and dropped something in my hand, which I had laying kind of open on the bed beside me, palm up. It was a water bottle cap. I have no clue where he found it. We haven't had water bottles in the house in at least a year, if not 1.5 years. I don't know why he brought it to me, but he thought, in that moment, I needed that cap. He got all the head scratches and cuddles that day. Maybe he liked batting it around and playing with it. So he had it hidden somewhere for his private playtime. And he thought it makes him feel good. So maybe it would make you feel good too. I'd like to believe this. This is too cute. My cat is very particular about my sleeping times. She will scream at me if I stay up too late and stubbornly wake me up in the mornings if I sleep in. She has tried many methods of waking me up. My favorite was when she once placed her entire little body under my neck and then lifted up. Mine starts luring me to the bedroom when she thinks it's bedtime. Usually around 22:00 o'clock. Not exactly weird, but the dumb methodica kept finding ways into the walls of my old apartment, then scream until he found his way to an exit. Idiot. I bet he flattened himself out and whoosh went right through a seam in your wall. My cat used to have a little bell collar when she was little, but she would always try to remove it by getting her lower jaw under it and unclipping it. Sometimes she couldn't get it loose and would get her jaw stuck in the collar. Several times that poor cat came to us for help with her mouth forced wide open by the collar so that we could unclip it. After a few weeks we gave up on the collar. Every cat I've ever lived with has gotten their lower jaw stuck in their collar at some point. Usually when they are kittens and first getting used to collars. Mine gets his tongue stuck under his collar almost daily. He's got the roughest tongue I've ever seen on a cat though. It actually hurts when he licks you. He keeps on licking a certain wall, tiles, in the bathroom and a stone column in our front yard. He licks those daily. I can't tell why he does that despite checking on Google for answers. He could have a nutritional deficiency. There is also a thing called pica. My cat tries to eat plastic. I have to hide it from him deep in the trash. He does it so he can barf it up like he'd eaten grass. Edit. My dad had a dog that had a rock. He licked it and humped it. Don't you dare try to take it from him. My one cat eats plastic too. Doesn't swallow it thankfully. Just likes to chew it and shed it. I can't keep bread out or plastic bags anymore. One of my kitties, Binks, has a shoe fetish. Or maybe just a foot fetish in general. Loves rubbing on shoes constantly. Especially when I get home and first take them off, she will come dashing from the next room to shove her face in them. And she is the type of cat that will bite when you pet anywhere but her head, unless it is done with feet, and then she purrs the entire time. My sister's cat, Minnie, has this thing about my Crocs. She stuffs her head into them and slides around the carpet. Once she realized she could see through them, it was so dang funny. My shoes are the only ones she does this with. There needs to be a video of this. I was thinking about my cat being sentient and communicating with me telepathically. I looked behind me and she was staring at me with her head turned in my direction. The only reason cats don't use their telepathy to directly communicate with us is because we're lesser beings who aren't worthy. Our inferior brains will explode if exposed to telepathy. My cat sat up, voraciously licked his erect peen while simultaneously hitting himself. That's just a normal Sunday for me. My cat can jump up and hit the ice maker so he can play with the ice cubes when they hit the floor. Toy dispenser. My sister has a loft bed with a stepladder she got last year. From the bed, the cats can't see her, but two of them have figured out how to use the stepladder to get their cuddles in the middle of the night. Not only that, but one of them, Brutus, will actually ask if she's there by meowing to announce his presence and waiting for her to call him up. We figured he did this because he was too lazy to go up the ladder and check himself lol. One of our other cats, Millie, hates the loft bed with a passion and can't figure out its purpose. Sometimes I'll be sitting on the floor talking to her while she's in her bed and Millie will come in and freak out once she hears my sister's voice. She can't comprehend why she can hear her but not see her, and she bolts out of the room. I really would like to know what that cat is thinking though as she runs out. Maybe she thinks the bed is haunted. Not only that, but one of them, Brutus, will actually ask if she's there by meowing to announce his presence and waiting for her to call him up. We figured he did this because he was too lazy to go up the ladder and check himself lol. This is my favorite one in this entire thread. My cat puts live spiders in her mouth and brings them to me in my bed while I'm sleeping. My cat came in during the middle of the night one summer when I had my window open for ventilation and letting her travel as she pleased. I vaguely wake up and turn to greet her, and she drops a live, frightened, and very wet mouse on my pillow. Only missed my face cause I saw it coming. I was pretty awake after that. Thankfully, she quickly realized I didn't appreciate that very much. I love her. But please. Edit, grammar. I had a 8-week-old kitten that hated me, hated me. Every time I tried to apply flea treatment. Or even just brush her. Always being very gentle, and with no sudden movements from the sides or above. She swiped and hissed at me like I was Satan himself. I've raised cats before. But even the shelter manager told me that I might not be able to successfully socialize the kitten she hadn't been able to, and that it was totally okay to bring her back if it didn't work out. And then, one odd day, the kitten did a 180 and became the most friendly, belly showing cat. Following me around the apartment and such and talking. In fact, she became pretty clingy at times, almost like a dog and always needing companionship. When I come home she's waiting by the front door. She wasn't ill or hungry. The vet found nothing weird. It's as if some switch flipped in her and she decided I was okay. When I asked the vet about this strange behavior, she just shrugged her shoulders and said cats. I had a cat that I had taken in as a semi-feral kitten at about 5 weeks old. She was fairly affectionate as a kitten, but became less so as she grew up. But she loved my dog. When she wanted affection, she would nuzzle my dog and love on her. And my dog would nuzzle her and groom her. And she ate it up. Meanwhile, I could occasionally get a pet in if she was distracted enough. When my dog passed away, she was finally like, I guess I'll try the big dumb human. She became the most affectionate thing, demanding to be wherever I was, on my lap the second I sat down, cuddling and literally hugging me. I had a cat that didn't know how to meow. It actually didn't speak cat. I don't know what language this creature was speaking. It didn't meow. It Ghana edition. Sometimes he seemed like he was honestly trying to meow, but it still just came out as mmmmmmgaahh. He was a total sweetheart though. Lol, I laughed too hard at the gar sound. Onomatopoeia. Our cat absolutely loves being held when anyone is on the toilet. I have no idea why. She will come in the bathroom with you and beg to be picked up and purr so loudly when you hold her. It's so ducking weird. Yep, one of my cats loves to be petted when I'm on the toilet. He runs from where he is when I go into the bathroom. He's usually quite standoffish except for toilet cuddles and before I go to sleep when he gets super purry and wants snuggles. The rest of the time he looks angry. I was on the toilet with my pants and underwear around my ankles, and she apparently thought they'd make a good hammock. So she jumped into my underwear still around my legs and proceeded to curl up and fall asleep. My cat has done this few times too. It almost always happened when I was either getting ready for work or on my lunch break. My cat will carry socks in his mouth from the laundry room to the living room, meowing as loudly as he can the entire time. And now he's sort of passed the tray on to the other cats and they've started doing the same thing. I can just imagine like 20 cats all walking together with socks and surrounding you. Why did you have to make it scary? Make sure to like and subscribe so we can watch together.